97.7 Dundalk FM.
Town Talk.
Now, over the last number of weeks, we've been joined by artists and musicians and poets from MOPOSOGS, the Monaghan Poets and Songwriters Group, and the Artists as Exchange here in Dundalk. And we've been hearing about the project called Awash with Colour. I'm delighted to say we're joined by two more pairings in this particular Awash with Colour project, and that's Dara McGabhann and Niamh O'Connor. You're very welcome to the studio, guys.
Thank you, Pat.
Great to have you on board. And maybe I'll start with you, Dara, because your name's come up in a few of the conversations I've had over the last while. So you're involved in a very particular way. You're in a lead role, perhaps.
Yeah, I would have set it up back in 2010. I would have set up MOPOSOGS, which is Monaghan Poets and Songwriters Group. So that was set up, 11 years ago. So I'm still leading it. Can't get out now. It's a bit like Hotel California. You check in, you can't leave, you know.
Oh dear, I don't know. That's not fair. Wow, okay.
In a good way.
In a good way. So the idea for the Awash with Colour project, is that your idea, Dara?
No. It came from Artists as Exchange. They had been doing other similar projects, kind of doing postcards and stuff to each other. So it was Caoimhe Dwyer who came up with the idea, could we link up with a group of writers? And then Julie Corcoran, who you've had in here as well, is very familiar with me, as is Niamh. We actually know each other. And my name came up from the two of them. So that was that. Then I was contacted, and with that, of course, we're always up for anything. We've done lots of collaborations over the years, and we were well up for it. So it ended up then we had 3 sets of Zooms where first of all, we actually shared the work. So all the artists would have sent their stuff to Caoimhe, and all of the writers sent their stuff to me, and we just swapped over then. We swapped files, and basically randomly they were given out to each group. And
Dara, was it literally random? I mean,
absolutely
nobody
random.
You weren't that just suits so and so.
No, I know Caoimhe did it alphabetically, but I just wrote everybody's names down right there. It was like dealing cards, here you go. And and so just randomly. So it meant that everybody got at least 2, because you gave your piece in, the person responded, but you also got a piece to respond to. So you were inspired and you gave inspiration for, if you like.
Right.
Yeah. And then some of MOPOSOGS got 2, including myself, because we had only 17 and there was 21 from the artists. So we didn't want anyone disappointed. We weren't going to say there's no one for you. So some of us took 2 on. So, and I kind of knew who would be fit to do that, like in the group, who would churn them out quickly.
Okay, and I know from talking to some of the artists, there is quite a lot of work involved. I mean, it's not just a case of 10 minutes and there you are type of thing. There's serious work. Niamh, we'll go over to yourself. You mentioned there that you and Dara know each other from before, or whatever that means.
Dara and I have a lot of shared history, actually, and it's all been pleasant, I have to say. I'm very fortunate to know Dara. She's a great go-getting woman. I often say she could run the country. But Dara was the director and founding member of the Monaghan Arts Network back, what was that, 2010?
2014.
2014. And as chairperson, I think, was I your first secretary?
Yes, probably.
I think it was. And there was a great body of us, and we used to have, of course, COVID put massive stops to these things. We used to have a showcase for professional and emerging artists. Once a month, we would literally have an open forum platform. People would be invited to attend and witness, and we would have a stage, and on that stage you could come and present a new body of work or something you were working on. Perhaps you would show, in my case, visual art, or you might perform some poetry. We've had theatre groups, all sorts. And Dara and I worked very closely on that. I'm not actually a member of MOPOSOGS, the Monaghan Songwriter and Poet Society, because I don't do that. I'm more visual. But I know a huge proportion of the people that are involved with that from the creative community in Monaghan, because Monaghan's a wee gem, really, it's not a lot to do but like pour your creativity onto everything. It's fantastic. But I am a member of AAEX. So when I heard that this collaboration was happening, I was very eager to get involved, because knowing both groups, I knew in my heart of hearts how well this was going to work. What I couldn't have imagined is how successful it would be, how many new friendships has formed out of it, and that shared sense of community between two very different communities, So it's been all around quite a win-win as far as I can see.
And we've seen that here in the studio.
Yeah.
I mean, literally where you're sitting now, there have been artists who had never met until they came into the studio because of the whole Zoom and COVID and all the rest of it, but they were inspiring each other nonetheless, and were engaged and connected, and they're going out there and having chats about their work, and suddenly you have a friend for life, you know.
And going for coffee afterwards.
Really?
Quite a few of them were going for coffee afterwards, which was lovely.
Much stronger, depends on the characters.
No, I don't think anyone did that. Did you drive?
So let's get down to the particular pairing which you're involved in, Dara. So who inspired who? Where did it start?
Niamh, I got Niamh's picture, which was kind of funny because John Nutley, who you've had here, said to me, he said, "Oh, I hope I don't get Niamh. I don't know if I'd be able to do something that's abstract."
Oh.
We laughed at it because I ended up randomly getting it myself, which I was delighted with because I know Niamh anyway, you know. So her picture came, and you can see there. You can describe it, Niamh.
Okay, Niamh has the picture here, which you can't see on radio, but Niamh is going to tell us what have we got.
It is a small scale mixed media work on paper, and it is I would say it is a layering of mark making, handmade collage, and paints in a palette of beiges, pinks, whites, blues. It's very much of my hand. It's how I like to work. I kind of work in a layering process. I'm very expressionist in my approach. A lot of my work is almost like a visual diary keeping of sorts, and I put a lot of good intention and hopes and wishes into my work. It's embedded in everything I do. I start all my pieces with an asemic mark making stream of consciousness kind of approach. So every piece that I put out into the world has a hidden message, if you like, and it's something I started doing many years ago. This piece is, I would say, it's from to my mind, it's visually busy but has a calm kind of overall aesthetic. So I thought, given its scale, that it might be, I don't know why I felt scale was important at the time, but I did, and and maybe it is because some of my bigger works are so much busier. I felt, given the scale of this piece and the intention and the sentiment that's in this piece, my knowing what it was, that would be a nice piece to offer somebody.
But you have an advantage on the rest of us because you know.
I know.
Somebody getting it though, how are they going to get there? That's the question.
The thing. You had to be. I think as an abstract artist, your work's never finished till somebody sees it. And actually, because abstraction is so subjective, I mean, it's so personal to me, but it's also so personal to the person who sees it, and that might be in a completely different way. You know, if they respond to it, it's doing something for them. They may see something in it that I never put there, and I have to be open to that. And to be honest with you, that's really interesting to me because there's a lovely kind of continuation then of the maker and the viewer. And if the viewers get to, like, if you're fortunate enough to hear what they may see in your work, sometimes that might inspire you to go somewhere else.
Right.
So it's this wonderful kind of serendipity, this kind of circle of creativity.
So Niamh, what you described there in your painting was very much abstract and feelings and moods and thoughts, and in terms of then what Dara's receiving, she's looking at this picture.
So I know the intention, and Dara gets an image. Now I think.
So can we go to Dara then? You get this image.
Yeah,
You didn't hear all of what was said there.
I didn't hear any of it, and in fact, I didn't even see the title. So the title might have given you some indication, but I didn't see the title at the stage. I just saw the image.
Smooth Path Ahead.
But I didn't know that.
Right.
So, funnily enough, when I saw what I saw in it, I was looking at, there's a circle there, and the white and the pinky streaks in it. That kind of gave me some kind of, I suppose, ease, if you like. But the circle looked restrictive, and that's a black circle. So to me, the black circle was kind of a bit dark in the background, and because it's behind the white, I was getting all those readings from it anyway. Yeah. So what I came up with was a poem called I Seek Release. And I suppose I got that from the circle, the restriction, and then the white part and the pinkies and the other colours in it. I thought, in a way, it wasn't all dark. It was somebody in the dark coming out. And that's what I got from it. So, and I didn't know it was called Smooth Path Ahead, which kind of, was perfect. So I can read it for you.
Absolutely, please do.
So, okay. And this is quite different to anything I would do as well, because I write songs and somehow it worked anyway. I am caught, constricted, flight suspended, strapped, feeling fraught, wicked from fright, entrapped. Tensions taut, restricted, a calmness sought, depicted in my sight. Emotions overlapped, breathing tight. I seek release.
Wow.
Incredible.
Well, a round of applause from Niamh over there. Clearly, you enjoyed the response.
I was actually blown away because I know that to a degree Dara is familiar with my work because we do live in the same community. We are within the same, creative bubble.
I've been to her exhibitions.
We supported each other over the years, turning up at gigs and all the rest of it. We're good pals. So I knew she was familiar with my work, but I did not know from image alone that she would be able to tune in so succinctly to what it was I was trying to express through line and colour. I just thought it was phenomenal, and it was a blessing of a pairing, and I'm so grateful to her beautiful words. She's very talented.
Thank you. Likewise.
Girl.
So that worked exceptionally well. I thought, given what I'd seen, how are you going to get a poem out of that? Not even having a title to work off, and it could be in a completely different place. But in fact, you connected very well. I don't know how that really happened, but it worked. So you then delivered your poem. Was it delivered on Zoom?
And we delivered on Zoom. Yeah, we had 3 Zoom meetings, all of 2 hours. And like that, everyone would show up to the Zoom, but you would hope that you'd get your pairing person showing up on the same day. Yeah, because we showed them if the other person was there. You'd say like, oh, Dara's here, would Niamh be here? This kind of thing. And then if she was there, I'd say, oh, I have a poem for you. This is the kind of way it worked. So they were all like that. So sometimes you'd show up and the person wouldn't be there, and you might wait till the next Zoom. And by the last one, then if they weren't, that everybody just performed them and whatever. Right. So it was really a case. And while you were doing it, Bernhard Gall, who is the leader, I suppose, of your group, he would show up the pictures. So while I'd be reading, the image would be there. So all of us, like the 40 of us or whatever on Zoom, could see the image, and then they could hear the poem coming in, or whether it's a song or whatever it was that was being performed by our group. So it was really, really, it was just phenomenal, and the amount of serendipity that came with it, like things like, you had Una here and Angela, where she had just been on the Antrim Coast. Angela wrote something about the Antrim, this kind of thing, or people that were just going through the same thing. I think we had Sean O'Marchine, he wrote The High Kings, and then you had what's the girl, the young girl, wasn't Tracy, was it? But she wrote anyway a poem. She did a painting about the High Kings, but she had just been up on Tara, and she was really into all that as well. So it was just kind of, people sort of just fell nicely into these niches.
You couldn't have scripted it as,
you could not have scripted it. And I think the fact that it was random was better, because you couldn't have picked like who went with what.
It resulted in even more powerful outcomes because it was so random, because there are some people you would never in a million years put together, and yet their works and their words just ran so beautifully and so powerfully together that may not have happened had they chosen a partner.
Exactly.
Because they may have chosen somebody that was more akin to their way of working,
absolutely,
more in line with their tastes, or so it was really, and that's what made it exciting.
What also happened were a lot of people, both the artists and the writers, changed their style a wee bit because of what they saw. They were inspired to do something a little bit more challenging and adventurous. And I know even Bernhard said that when he saw Enda Riley's, and you had Enda coming in on Zoom, and we're from Detroit, that he did, I think it was a lino print, which is something he wouldn't normally do. So to do something, I wouldn't normally do a poem like that. I would normally do blues songs or whatever, or jazz or whatever. So that was like, and every one of them challenged me differently than I would normally do myself.
Okay, well, we're going to...
It's interesting, because when I had another piece to respond to, I wasn't in a position in the studio to respond in the way maybe I would have liked, because I was under time pressure with working on a commission. So I do a lot of visual journaling, so my response piece ended up being a journal page rather than a full scale painting or something. Yeah. So it brings a different element and a different approach, and I think everybody felt that.
Yeah. I think so.
So we've heard how your painting, Niamh, inspired Dara's poem. But this was a two-way street. So what's the reciprocation now? Who inspired what for who?
Well, then in reciprocation, I suppose we weren't paired.
Yeah, you got someone else.
You got someone else.
Pairing, and then we each equally got somebody else.
It's like Chris Kindle. You don't know who you're going to get out of the bag. You know?
It's very much a Chris Kindle, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Dara, who did you get then?
Then I got, let me see now. So I did that. Yeah, I wrote a song called Sparks, which it was my very first song to write as a member of MOPOSOGS back in 2010. And I sent that without the lyric. She just got the lyric. She didn't get the melody with it. To Geraldine Martin, who did a fabulous painting, and it was like trees and this mad flaming red sky behind it. And I think she was on with you already with Des Murphy, and she actually, listening to that interview, really explained it even more to me what she got from it, because she was talking about it, the whole intertwining of the trees underground and the relationship. And it was about a relationship, more like a family relationship than a love relationship.
Underground.
Yeah, this whole, kind of connection. And then because I did two lots, I also did a poem which was sent to Julie Corcoran, and that was When the Kitchen Grows Cold. And then I got back a lovely piece from Aileen Durkin, who you've had here as well, which was like a ceramic. It looked to me like an urn with a figure dancing on it, kind of a vague figure, like a kind of abstracty figure. So the strange thing about that was that she, in her head, it was about birth and I suppose being pregnant, and I didn't realise she was pregnant. So when I got it, I just got the picture. I actually thought it was just a picture, but it was a beautiful ceramic piece. And I did a song that was about death and keeping the person's spirit with you.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and I called it Spirit Vessel as well. So and then just to say that all of those pieces will be in Intas.
Yes.
On the 9th we have our exhibition, which is next Thursday. It's only a week away. So yeah, Intas have been amazing. They have cleared the space for us, so we have about a month there for the exhibition. The launch will be next Thursday night at 8:00. And not only will you have the exhibition, all this 41 pieces of art hanging or displayed, you will have the words written beside them. You will have a QR code. You can bring your phone and you can click in and bring your earbuds or your headphones, and you can listen to each piece, the
Amazing.
song or the poem being recited. So also on the night, it's a free event, and also on the night you've got a performance from MOPOSOGS. So we will have roughly about 90 minutes of performance, and it's in cabaret style. So if people want to feel safe, there are small tables set out with the little lamps. It's going to be beautiful. So there is that kind of sense of feeling safe as well about it while we can. And you're going to get this performance, and even we're hoping to have Enda Riley even streamed in on Zoom to do his two pieces. So we're going to have 11 acts, if you like.
It sounds like a fantastic night with all of the art forms, I suppose, on show in different ways. And I love the idea that you can scan and get the audio on your headphones. So that's going to really add.
Yeah, because I think to really get the full buzz out of it, you need to kind of see both or hear both, and to actually hear the author or the poet.
It should
or the song,
Yeah. Probably give a little more insight into the.
Oh, absolutely, it will. Yeah.
Because and for quite a few of the participants within this project, they have never met before. So Thursday might be the first time. Get to meet and physically have that interaction and share their stories about how they inspired one another.
Well, the whole project in itself is inspiring, literally inspiring each other, but inspiring, I think, anyone that's experienced it. And I've no doubt that the Intas is going to be another inspirational event.
Yeah. And the other plus thing is that Anton have come on board. So it's a travelling show. So in 2022, in the summer of 2022, we will be putting the whole exhibition up there. And we hope to have somewhere in between, actually. We're up for grabs to go somewhere in between those two exhibitions, but it's a travelling show.
And it would be a good idea right now, to plug the website.
Oh yeah, good thinking.
Okay.
Yeah, plug the website. Yeah. So the website is awashwithcolour.ie. So all the one word, if you like, it's lowercase. And on that, you will see the pictures. And we will be putting up the SoundCloud with all the music on it after the exhibition, after the first exhibition. We will, after the start of it at least, that'll all go up as well. You can get all the links for the different artists and the different writers as well on there. It's a fabulous website. Julie Corcoran did amazing work on it. And I have to say, you know, it's just been wonderful working with Julie, and Caoimhe have been amazing to work with. I've a good work ethic, and I love to work with people who also have a good work ethic. So they have been incredible, and our team in MOPOSOGS have really come on board with their talents as well, and are just, you know, there's 5 or 6 of them are burrowing away working behind the scenes. Nothing happens by accident. No. That's what I'll say. Nothing happens by accident, and it's all hard work that gets it there to that finished stage.
And sorry, the website again is what?
Awash with colour.
Just as simple as that. awashwithcolour.ie.
Yeah, and because it's quite new, you might have to put it up in the space bar. It mightn't come up in your Google, so put it up in the space bar at the top. You know, it's very new.
And all the poems and all the poetry, all
of the writing.
paintings.
So you will see, when you go in there, you will see the picture and the writing side by side. It's like a book, you know. They're amazing what Julie has done with it. And Bernhard did a bit of work on it as well, I think, So it's just.
And can I just ask, because we're nearly out of time, Dara, because we've had lots of Awash with Colour pairs in here.
Yes.
Are you the final pair, or is there still more to come?
I think we're going to have Caoimhe next week.
Oh, wow. All right.
Yes,
Okay.
I don't know who's going to be with her, but she was meant to do last week and couldn't. She was ill, so she's all set for next week, which is great because it's actually the day of the exhibition. So
well, we look forward to that and to the exhibition in Intas in Castlebany, and indeed whenever it does come to Anton in the summer next year. It sounds like a well worth a visit.
Well, you're more than welcome to come over. We'd love to have you.
Thank you very much.
97.7 Dundalk FM. Town Talk.